For community comment, here is your host, Craig Warmbold.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon. Welcome to Community Comment, the first of two segments on today's program, and both segments are being video streamed at dailydodge.com. Just check out the video tab, and you can feel free to either watch today's program live, or you can watch it back after the fact. If you'd like to check this out later, maybe share it to your social media. You can do all that at dailydodge.com. You can also listen at dailydodge.com. If for any reason you were to travel outside of the listening area here at AM 1430 WBEV, boom, you can pick us right up at dailydodge.com under the, well, I'd say under the audio tab, but it's one of the first things you can do right there on Daily Dodge is listen to either 95X or this very station here, AM 1430 WBEV, where our guests on today's Community Comment program are joining us. In this first segment, we got plenty of people here joining us. They're with the Beaver Dam Downtown Veterans Honor Walk Banner Committee. And you're going to need that mic a little closer there, Lois. Did I get the pronunciation of that right?
Lebanon, yeah.
I didn't say your last name yet. I was asking about the name of the committee, Lois.
Yes, you were right.
So it's the Beaver Dam Veterans Honor Walk Banner Committee.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
All right, so that is Lois Levenhagen, if you haven't already figured it out. She's a member of the American Legion Auxiliary in Beaver Dam. They're number 146. And we've actually got 5 other guests, 2 of which are joining us here at the first half of the segment, and 2 of which are joining us in the second half of the segment. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to speak with Gus Shire, Emily Shire, and alderperson Kay Appenfeld. In this segment, we have an opportunity to speak with the aforementioned Lois Levenhagen, along with Ollie Shire, Eagle Scout, and Dave Diljak, a assistant scoutmaster from Beaver Dam Scout Troop 724. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I should say. We're here to talk about the, as I understand it, another opportunity for folks to participate in a wonderful program that's available through the downtown, the 2022 Veterans Honor Walk program. Let's start out, if we could, Dave, what can you tell us about this program?
Well, this will be the third year of our program. This is the Veterans Honor Walk. You probably saw the banners hanging downtown Beaver Dam this last year and the year before. This will be our third year again. We want to display, our goal is to display up to 50 banners, and each banner is 30 inches by 70 inches in size. They have a picture of the veteran on it and military information about the veteran. The Veterans Honor Walk program is a way to honor veterans who have served our country.
Excellent, very good. So we're going to talk a little bit in just a little bit about how to sponsor a banner. But first, these banners are beautiful in the downtown. We've had a chance to see them for the last several months this year. We've had a chance to see them for the last several months last year. Ollie, the centerpiece of this seems to be the pictures of each of the individual veterans. Tell us a little bit about the kinds of pictures that would be needed for people that do sponsor one of their veterans as part of this program.
And Mick Jagger, because he keeps repeating
most
the
of last year's photos were
one of the songs from the Rolling
Veterans Basic
Stones.
Training
So enjoy.
Days.
Whipping around
We also
1990
used some
as George
interesting
Michael
photos of the
waiting
veterans
for that
in
day.
the field.
The 95X whip
But it
around.
doesn't have to be a military photo. A high school graduation picture was used for one banner last year. The photos can be black and white or in color. The important thing is that we need a digital photo. And if you need help scanning a photo in, let Mr. Diljak know and he'll scan it in for you. But please don't mail Mr. Diljak a photo. The photos are precious and we don't want any getting lost or damaged. We can use a pretty small photo if it's a sharp photo. One of the photos last year was 1 3/4 inches by 2 1/4 inches. That's pretty small, but it was a nice sharp photo, and it looked nice once it was scaled up to the size of 18 inches by 22 inches on our banners.
Ooh, so that's what it'll be, 18 by 24. So that's 1.5 feet by 2 feet, essentially, adorned through the downtown area. Excellent. So, Ali, how long have you been in the Scouts now? You're an Eagle Scout, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I've been, if you include Cub Scouts, then about 10 years.
Wow, excellent. And what has been your favorite part about scouting?
I've met a lot of people that I are friends with, and I've had a lot of fun, and it's just a good experience.
Excellent. Now, in Eagle Scout, what did you do to become an Eagle Scout? Doesn't every Eagle Scout have to do like a special project?
Yeah, for my Eagle Scout project at the church I go to, Grace Presbyterian, I restored some picnic benches they had there,
Wonderful.
along with helping with like the garden and restoration of the outside part.
That's great. And now you're helping with this, your fellow scouts, in bringing this thing to the downtown.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. So, folks have a chance to sponsor these banners once again. As Ali said, it's 18 inches by 22 inches. That's what the picture is going to look like on those banners. Who is it exactly, Lois, that can sponsor one of these banners?
Well, basically anybody can. It can be a friend, a neighbor, a family member, or even a group of people get together and share the costs of it. And but just as long as it's clear and it's a nice picture and stuff, and it's not paid by the city. It's paid by the sponsors. The city has nothing to do in the cost.
Yeah, this is all through the Veterans Committee, this volunteer committee that was started, what was it, about 3 years ago now,
Yep,
Lois?
Yep. Yep.
And it was for this very intention,
Right. Yeah.
being able to honor the veterans,
Veterans, yeah.
in our community.
Yeah, we have specific days, like, a Veterans Day was here this fall and stuff, and it's just that one day, and they've given their lives, some have died for us and everything else on the front line, and we felt this was a way to honor them much longer period, so we have them up all summer.
Excellent, very good. So now, where exactly is it that these banners that are available through the Veterans Honor Walk Banner Committee, where is it, Oliver, that these banners will be displayed?
The banners are downtown in Beaver Dam, and this is another way to attract people downtown for a walking tour of the banners, see the city murals, visit our downtown merchants, and enjoy the Rotary River Walk. You can use the map in the banner booklet that we give every participant to see where your banner is displayed.
Excellent. Again, we're looking at the third year for doing these banners coming up in 2022. So, Lois, can any veteran be displayed as part of this?
Oh, yeah. Anybody, and they don't even have to be from Beaver Dam. I mean, I've got brothers that live in another town. I could honor them here if I wanted to. So, but we'll display any veteran as long as they are still active or honorably discharged. And the veteran doesn't have to had to have fought on the front line. As long as they are in the services, one of the branches and stuff, any job they did was to help even the guys that were on the front line. I mean, whatever, and if they even go across, I mean, it's open up to anybody into any service.
And we've seen that now, haven't we, Lois? We've seen, I imagine, all aspects of our armed services represented now in these first 2 years of the plan.
Yeah, we have, yes.
And again,
And that information is actually on the banner, what war or, when they served and stuff.
have the banners from year one and year two, have those had a consistent kind of layout? Are those, or do you change them up each year?
With the layout, though, how they're printed?
Yeah, the way the banner looks.
Yeah, no, this has been consistent. We try to keep it the same, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Very good, very good. So, I mean, I guess the big question then is, Dave, where can I get one of these applications?
Well, right now, we have applications down at the Chamber of Commerce. And if you can't stop down there, you can give me a call, Dave Diljak at 920-885-6463. Or you can email me at diljak@charter.net. That's Diljak, D as in Dave, ILJAK @charter.net, and I'll send you an electronic application.
Perfect. All right. So Ali, what have you done specifically as a scout? You've told us about the wonderful Eagle Scout programs that you've been involved in. When it comes to this Veterans Honor Walk opportunity, what is it you have specifically done as a scout to help out?
We have helped with the mailing, and we organized the banners so that they could be ready to be displayed, and to make sure that there weren't any damages or anything with the banners, and helping out with things like that.
Perfect. All right. Very good. And Lois, this project, again, now 2 years that you've had it rolling, the third year in 2022. Can you tell us how this project has been received by the public?
Oh, they've really enjoyed it, and we've gotten a lot of good compliments, either by email or phone calls or letters, and just in conversation talking to people about it. And I've met so many people, and actually all of us have met through this program. We've met a lot of them. It's impressive to see them all on display downtown. And then like last year, the Hankus family got together and they honored the 5 brothers. They all served in World War II. And then the year before, the Rotary Club had bought the banners for the Gold Star families, and there was 5 of them. So
Great ideas.
Yeah, right. So anybody can pitch in and help us, be a sponsor.
Dave, what's that phone number again?
920-885-6463.
All right, very good.
Or you can email me at diljack@charter.net.
Oh, that's easy to remember.
Yes.
How do you spell Diljak?
DILJAK@charter.net.
Okay, all right, DILJAK@charter.net. Here, as we wind down this segment, before we bring the next group of scouts and volunteers in, Dave, why don't you tell our listeners why they should make it a point to help out with the 2022 Veterans Honor Walk?
Again, this is a program that's really near and dear to us, and we decided as a committee we're going to keep doing this as long as there's an interest, and it's a great way to honor our veterans. Like Lois said, instead of taking out one day like Memorial Day or Veterans Day, you can enjoy this all summer long because we need to remember what our veterans have done for us.
Perfect, very good. And Lois, same question.
Yeah, we want to honor our veterans because, this is where we got our freedoms that we enjoy today in this country and stuff. And so we need to give back to them because they gave their life for us.
Wonderful. And Oliver Shire, why should our listeners support the 2022 Veterans Honor Walk program?
I think it's just a really great program, and we should keep it going to honor our veterans, and they've just done so much for us, and I think it's a good way to display that, and other people can see that too.
Excellent. That's Oliver Shire, Eagle Scout. Also Dave Diljak, Assistant Scoutmaster for Beaver Dam Scout Troop 724, and Lois Levenhagen with the American Legion Auxiliary in Beaver Dam. We do have to take a break. We are going to continue our conversation on the 2021 Veterans Walk with our guests Gus Shire, Emily Shire, and Alderperson Kay Appenfeld here in just a few minutes.
This week's White Construction High School Athlete of the Week is Wayland Academy's Anthony Williams. Senior competes on the Big Red basketball.
I think you found the volume now.
All right.
This thing, I couldn't get this thing right.
Have you be mindful of those chords there?
Community Comment.
And we're continuing in this first segment of Community Comment, our guests with the 2022 Veterans Honor Walk, the downtown banners that we've seen honoring veterans in the downtown community this year and last year. They're going to be at it for a third year this year. In just a few minutes, we're going to be speaking with Beaver Dam Area Orchestra Conductor Rich Zieman. In this segment, we have an opportunity to sit down with first-class scout from Beaver Dam Troop 724, Gus Shire, the treasurer of Troop 724, Emily Shire, and also Alderperson Kay Appenfeld. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
So, and Gus, it's good to see you. How long have you been in the Boy Scouts now, Gus?
If you count Cub Scouts, this is my 7th year.
Oh, you having a good time?
Yep.
What's your favorite part?
It's very hands-on,
Okay.
and I've met a lot of cool people in it.
Great, fantastic. And one of the cool things he gets to do is the 2021 Veterans Honor Walk. And we want to ask Gus about sponsoring one of these banners for 2022. Again, you've had 2021 and 2020. You've had 2 years in Beaver Dam of doing this wonderful thing to honor veterans here in our downtown community. How do I sponsor a banner in 2022?
You need to fill out an application. The application will provide us the name, rank, branch of service, either Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marines, Merchant Marine, Navy, and National Guard. Years of service, wars fought in, and the sponsor's name. We will also need a digital picture of the veteran.
Yes, of course, that digital, and as we learned in the first segment, that's blown up to 18 inches by 24 inches, and if it's pretty sharp, it could be fairly small. What did I say? 22 inches. All right, well, that's okay. It's just the thing you want to keep in mind is that you want to, if you have a sharper image, it's okay for it to be small, but if you have a small image that's also blurry, I imagine there's a little bit of a challenge there with it. Of course, the process for being able to get one of those, you want to call Dave at 885-6463. What kind of costs am I going to be seeing, Emily?
Okay. Well, the sponsorship per banner is $300. And what else can I say about that?
Does it cover the cost for artwork?
Thank you. It does. It's the cost for artwork, design, printing of the 30-inch by 70-inch two-ply double-sided vinyl banner. And each sponsor also will receive that banner booklet. We give them 5 copies. That's the one Oliver referred to earlier. And they will also be invited to a celebration luncheon after the banners are taken down in the fall. This could make a great Christmas present right now to sign up for a sponsorship.
So there's enough turnaround time where you'll be able to get, would you get like some kind of receipt that you've done this? What can you give for Christmas? Can you give like a card that says, hey, we've donated a banner in your name or something?
Yeah, we could, we even have the 2021 Veteran Honor Walk booklets right now, so we could give that as a sample to the family or to the folks that want to sponsor somebody and wrap that up for the holidays.
Absolutely perfect. So you mentioned that banner booklet. Kay, can you elaborate a little bit on what that booklet is all about?
The booklet, and I think we're on video, so I'm going to show it.
There you
that
go.
You can
Yes.
see it. But it has a picture of each veteran that is honored each year. And it serves as a great memento to the family that not only this year it shows the honoree, but it can be handed down from generation to generation to let the family know the contribution of that honoree to the war effort or to their military service.
We've got some examples in the booklet. Steve Hazy, who was in the Army from 1970 to 1972. John Kerwick, another fine example. Is every banner in this?
Only the banner for each year. So for 2020, all of those that were honored, their pictures were in the book. 2021, just the pictures of those from that year are in the book. And as I said, it's a great memento for your family and the traditions of your family in the military.
Excellent, very good. You know, I was meaning to ask your brother this, Gus, but maybe you can help me with this answer. Can you tell me exactly when those banners are going to be on display?
The banners will be displayed in the downtown areas of Beaver Dam, and they will be going from early July 2022 to mid-November 2022.
Perfect. Excellent. Very good. And as far as the applications, again, you can call Dave Diljak at 885-6463. That's 885-6463. Gus, how many banners do you plan on displaying?
Our goal is 50 banners.
Okay, that's a good number. And when do I need to get my application in, Gus?
By April 30th, 2022.
Oh, very good. Very good.
And you can plan ahead and get your banner ordered as a
handing the banner back to the people that were donors for the banner that year. And we have heard such great comments about, well, we didn't realize the banner was that big. We're trying to find a place to put it in our home, but we really want this in our home, and we will find a special place to put that banner. So the people that donate, they get the banner, they get the booklet, and they get the luncheon as a part of the $300 that they contribute.
Perfect. That's great. So we've been talking a lot about the 2021 Veterans Honor Walk, the banners that you see in the downtown area. The Boy Scouts have been a big part in being able to help the committee pull this off. Tell us a little bit more, Emily, about who it is that is organizing all this stuff. As far as getting the Boy Scouts involved and all that good stuff.
Of course. Well, the idea came from, I want to give credit to Luke Diljak, who's a senior this year in Beaver Dam. He did this project as his Eagle Scout project and put this committee together. And the committee is made of the American Legion Auxiliary Unit number 146, the Beaver Dam chapter of the National Exchange Club, Downtown Beaver Dam, and Beaver Dam Scouts BSA Troop 724. No longer just known as the Boy Scouts of America. Also, Mayor Becky Gluen and the Community of Development Manager Mary Vogel-Roscher were very helpful in opening doors for us and getting us in contact with people that could help us out. And the Beaver Dam Department of Public Works was great to work with in putting up banners and taking care of any problems that we came across. Design Advertising from Beaver Dam did the artwork for the banners and printed them for us, and they were great to work with. And really, if any businesses want to support us, we would recognize them by putting their business logo on the back cover of our booklet that Kay has shared. And items we could use help with would be cost to print the banner booklets and also the hardware that we use to hang the banners. It's more complicated than it perhaps looks there in downtown Beaver Dam.
Are you the one that hangs them?
I've witnessed Mr. Diljak is much more involved in that process, and he is very thorough and makes sure that the banners can last over time if any damage has come to them. He has made sure that we have ordered new banners for the families and just made sure they are well maintained.
Wonderful, very good. And they all seem very even, too, in the downtown. Very symmetrical. Good work, Dave.
He is precise. Yes.
So Gus, we were talking to your brother Oliver before about some of the things that the Scouts have done to support this banner project. He mentioned recording a radio spot and sorting through some of the banners and helping to modify that 2022 application. Can you tell us about some of the other things that you did together with the Scouts and the other organizers?
Yep. Together we gave an update to the Beaver Dam Rotary Club regarding the banner project. We prepared a mailing that included 5 banner booklets plus a cover letter to all this year's banners sponsors last May. We'll soon help with a December mailing to the American Legion Auxiliary and the American Legion members. We're going to include a 2022 banner application in this mailing. This Saturday, December 11th, we are going to help distribute the banners plus 2 boxed lunches to this year's banner sponsors. That will be from noon to 2 p.m. at the Veterans Center or the American Legion Hall at 300 Beitchell Avenue, Beaver Dam.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thanks, Gus. And here, as we wind the program down, we want to ask Kay, Alderwoman Appenfeld, why should our listeners make it a point to honor a veteran in 2022 by participating in the 2022 Veterans Honor Walk Banner Program?
Well, I think first of all, it creates a colorful and unique display for our downtown through July through November. It's also a terrific and awesome way to remember the veterans that have served for us. And you have to remember there are many theaters of veterans. So you can start with the World War II veterans, either deceased or some are still alive if you'd want to honor them. Then there's the Korean veteran. Then there's the Vietnam veteran. And then you move on to the current Afghan and Iraq service. And of course, it doesn't always have to be in a war theater. It can be someone that has served in the military in any capacity. And it just is a wonderful way to recognize those that have given so much for us.
Wonderful. And Emily, same question.
The question was, why should you do this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, just kind of a reminder to our listeners of all the good things that are possible with this and why they should take action here.
Well, I would steal my answer from Mr. Diljak. He's had the opportunity to get phone calls and emails and meet in person with people who have been affected by this. There are some children who have seen their parents' face on the banners in town that are no longer with them. There are family members who are able to be reminded that their community supports people that they've lost or people that they've been away from for extended periods of time due to this service. So I think it's just a really nice way not just to honor the veterans, but to honor the people who have veterans in their lives.
Excellent. And finally today, Gus, why should our listeners make it a point to help out the community by making it look better and getting one of these Veterans Honor Walk banners into downtown for one of the veterans that are in their friend group or in their family?
Well, I think that they're the ones that protected our country, and they shouldn't just be honored on Veterans Day, but all year round. And I think they're just very great people, and they deserve to be honored more.
Excellent. Well stated. Very good. Well, thank you guys all very much for joining me on today's program. Once again, they are with the 2022 Veterans Honor Walk. We want to thank all of our guests for appearing on this first segment here. We'll remind our listeners that the cost $300, and you've got until the 30th of April to sign up for one of their banners. 50 banners is the goal this year, and they're going to be displayed from July through November of next year. You can call Dave Diljak at 885-6463 for one of those banners. That's 920-885-6463. Or you can email Diljak at charter.net. That is DILJAK at charter.net. I want to thank our guests for joining us once again in the first segment. I want to thank Lois Levenhagen with the American Legion Auxiliary, and Ali Shire, the Eagle Scout, and also Dave Diljak, the Assistant Scoutmaster with Troop 724. And in this segment, we want to thank Alderperson Kay Appenfeld for joining us, Emily Shire, the Treasurer of Troop 724, and of course, Gus Shire here, First Class Scout from Troop 724. Thank you all very much for joining me on today's program.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Craig.
And that's going to do it for this segment. When we come back, we're going to be speaking with Beaver Dam Area Orchestra Conductor Rich Zieman. Back in a few minutes.
I mean, whose idea was that? I got an idea. Let's put you on video
Yeah, let's take radio people.
so people can see what you look like.
And put them on video. You know, that's also like having a conductor turn around so that the audience can see him, I think. So it has been...
I once had someone gave me a cartoon. It actually was in a large frame, and it was a conductor. And on his music, you could see his music stand, and on his music stand it said, "When music stops, turn around and bow." That's all it said.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
That's all
So,
you need to know.
That's the...
And that is straight from the mouth of only the second conductor of the Beaver Dam Area Orchestra in over 6 decades, Rich Zieman, longtime educator, retired music teacher, musical genius, soon to be departing our fine community, joining us here on Community Comment this afternoon. Thank you so much for driving all the way from northern Wisconsin to Beaver Dam just to appear on today's program. Thank you.
It's nice to see you, Norm.
Yes. Well, usually I'm used to most people just all collectively saying Norm when I walk into a Boston bar, but
You got to be a certain age to know what you're
Yeah.
what you're referencing right now.
I feel like the demographic here might be able to put that one together.
Yeah, you're not necessarily one of the older guys here.
No.
You've been here a while, but you're not one of the older guys.
Oh, no, I mean, are you kidding when you got somebody like Bill McCullum who started here on July 4th, 1963? It's hard to get seniority when that happens. John Kraft, 1982, I want to say, whenever he was kicked out of school that year and he came over here. I'm not sure what month that was of 82, but it was a great year too. And then
Who's next then after John?
see, it goes Bill McCullum, John Kraft, and then probably like that Rick Armin type of
Well, then
era.
it goes way down to
Yeah,
Armin.
then it's like at 97. Am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing somebody in there. Jeff Hall. I'm sorry. Jeff Hall would have been our musical guru here, the one who programs WBEV to be the greatest sounding station, musically speaking. I take care
Absolutely.
of, Kevin Haugen takes care of the news to make sure it's the greatest news station on the planet, but Jeff makes sure it's the greatest music station on the planet, just as you, I imagine, have the passion to make sure that everything you do and everything that you come into contact with is best in class.
You know what? This is my last community comment with you.
Well, I mean, I really appreciate that you've written out
you
the
know-
chance that you could ever possibly come back to Beaver Dam and maybe pop
you know
in.
my
You're just
first-
refusing to ever come back now.
My first community comment
Oh, no.
was in the spring of 1984
Really?
with John Moser.
Wow. Okay, so you started out.
And I
in
was at the high
good
school,
class.
and I was teaching with Jerry Anderson. And we
legendary
were
Jerry
plugging the jazz band swing choir spring concert. And he said, "There's a couple people you need to meet." And he introduced me to John Moser. That was the first time I met John. And Bill happened to be here. Of course, I don't think Bill ever did community comment. Or at least he didn't when I was.
It is my understanding that he never drew the short straw to
Right.
have to host.
And met Bill, and Bill is one of those guys where if he meets you once, he just calls you by name.
Right? Isn't
Just
that
remarkable, you know.
Isn't that-
I'll run into him, and it's like, how's Gerald? And it's like, he's a remarkable man.
I still forget your name when we bump into each other in the grocery store.
Right. Well, I said Norm, right? I
Rick,
didn't
you
mean
know,
Norm.
Yeah, that's fine. It's 84 was how many years would it have been that you had been in the community in 1984?
1.
You would have been a fresh pup.
Yeah, I came
freshman
in
year here.
83. I came in the fall of 83.
And you started and we're here to talk about the Beaver Dam Area Orchestra's big performance this Saturday at the Beaver Dam High School Auditorium. We'll get you all the details in just a minute. 1983, you come here, and you are, what is your role?
I am a band director at the Beaver Dam High School, and I teach elementary orchestra.
Oh, that must be aggravating.
I go to some elementary schools and teach 4th graders how to play violin and cello and bass.
Yeah, they'd all had the Suzuki lessons where they started when they were 9 months
they
old.
were brand new, and I was not a string player.
Oh.
And it was the best advice I ever got was from Mark Leiser,
Yeah.
who was teaching strings
The
here at
late
that
Mark
time.
Leiser,
And
yeah.
Mark said two things. He said, the kids don't know what you don't know. And number two was stay one day ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was such, and I have passed that advice on to more young teachers in my career too, where they're getting a first job or, the kids don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just stay one day ahead of them and you'll be fine. And that was it. So
Stay one. You take that to heart. You were actually supposed to be on tomorrow's program. I was surprised to see you out in the foyer when I walked out there today. That's okay. We were able to make accommodations.
you are such
here.
a liar because I texted you this morning and you replied to me.
I did.
Don't lie to your viewers and your watchers,
I wouldn't do that.
your listeners,
And our watchers. That is an excellent
the
point.
viewers and the watchers.
I'm glad you could make that remind me to do my job. To those of you listening to AM 1430 WBEV, or maybe listening on the stream at dailydodge.com, if you go to the video tab right now, you can watch today's community comment program. It is being video streamed.
Trust me, there's not much to watch. Just listen.
You promised you were going to bring your saxophone with us with you today.
You didn't remind me when I texted.
I know I should have. I should have said
Of course,
bring the sax.
I was in Black River Falls when I texted.
Well,
but
there's saxophones there. I'm sure you could just stop off at a music store, pick one out.
Absolutely.
So you're teaching kids to play a stringed instrument when you are trained as a wind instrument.
Absolutely.
Is that a difficult thing to fake?
That's really a good question.
Because I know I play a stringed instrument,
You
not
know
very well,
when-
but I couldn't blow into a saxophone.
When you get your degree, you have to have had certain number of hours on all the instruments, including strings. So I did have strings. I did play them, quote unquote, but I never really taught someone how to play it. And that's where that advice came up. They don't know what you don't know. They don't know that you don't play the violin very well. So get going, and it worked. But it was part of my job was doing elementary strings. I always did high school band and jazz. People who know me might know I have a large jazz background too. And then as I taught strings for a while, it was Mark Leiser once again who said, I think you should take on the high school orchestra, this high school class orchestra.
Are you teaching at the high school at this point?
Mm-hmm, yep. And boy, I resisted that for a long time. I just didn't think I was going to be good at it. And finally, I agreed to give it a try. Really enjoyed it, and I think I started teaching high school orchestra in the late '80s. And then Glenn Wood, who was the founder of the Beaver Dam Orchestra, the Beaver Dam Recreation Orchestra at that time. And then the newly incorporated Beaver Dam Area Orchestra announced his retirement. And I gotta say, without remembering exactly, I gotta say it was Mark Leiser again that said, you should think about this position. Because it's strings, you're getting better at strings, but it's also all the winds, the brass, woodwinds, percussion, working with adults. And I threw my hat in, and I got the job in August or September of 1991.
Had you trained as a conductor in any of your studies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back. When did you first pick up a music instrument?
5th grade.
5th grade. Was it the same type of scenario in school?
Yep, absolutely.
So in the same scenario where you taught kids like Ray Garman's daughters, Brittany and Robin.
Both of
We were
them.
just talking about that this morning.
Yep.
It was the same type of situation where you were imparting your knowledge onto that next generation. Was the same way that you received musical education yourself. Did you have a musical family?
No.
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 Okay.
I had a brother. I still have a brother who played in the high school band for a very short time, but he was much more successful at athletics, and so the instrument kind of slid down. But I was really kind of it
What instrument was that
that I played.
in 5th grade?
The saxophone.
You started right
Yeah.
out with which is the instrument that you would consider your primary.
Yeah, you know, my
instrument.
next door neighbor when I was in elementary school, she was in high school, and she was playing saxophone. I could hear her practicing.
Huh.
And now, had she played trumpet, maybe I'd be a trumpet player now. I don't know, but that's what I wanted to do.
Well, I mean, does a trumpet have that kind of elegance to your ear that a saxophone does? Do you really think fifth grade Rich Zieman would have done that?
Absolutely. I mean, it depends on who's playing it.
Yeah. Miles Davis plays it; it's
A-
one thing.
Absolutely.
When Radar O'Reilly plays
I
it, it's
mean,
a whole other
There's
thing.
a lot of really bad saxophone players, you know, maybe more than bad trumpet players. But you know, it's that hearing that musician, whether they're a singer or an instrumentalist, and you know, you can name them in 2 notes, you know who they are. Nat King Cole starts to sing. You don't need more than 3 seconds to identify who that is. And like a Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know almost instantly that can only be him. And there's a lot of guitar players, but you know that sound, and the real greats have that sound. So what it was about saxophone, I don't know, but I can tell you, having been involved with starting, it's got to be maybe into the thousands of kids on instruments, maybe several thousands, where you start. In Beaver Dam, what we did is we would let kids try them. Give us a list of 3 or 4 instruments you're interested in. You want to try trumpet, you want to try saxophone, you want to try flute.
This is by the high school level, I assume we're talking.
No, this would be elementary.
At the
This would be
elementary level,
be
okay.
going into 4th or 5th grade, depending on the instrument. And I have experienced hundreds of times the instrument picks the kids. You know, they can try saxophone, they can try a trumpet, and all of a sudden you get the kid tries a trombone, and it's like bang, the eyes pop open, the smile comes on the face, and it's just like, okay, you're gonna be a trombone player. It feels right, it sounds right to your ear. It's just like, yep.
Well, what's more important, having that inspiration, whether it be a professional musician or a neighbor that is wailing away at the saxophone? What's more important, that inspiration or the connection to the instrument, do you think, in making
I
a
don't
musician?
think a 10-year-old has many musical inspirations in regards to instrumental music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're more into singers or boy bands or,
Right.
you know, the kind of the flavor of the day. With pop music, I don't know many elementary kids that'll come in and say, I want to play trumpet because I'm a big Miles Davis fan. You know, that's pretty,
That's true.
that has happened.
Yeah.
And
there's a
and
10-year-old
usually because it's dad who listens to it, or now.
There's a kid named Miles
There-
right now in Beaver Dam. that
Yes,
has probably
absolutely.
Got that kind of
But there
approach.
was one exception for about 10 years where we had to beat kids off with a stick, figuratively, to not play saxophone because of Kenny G.
Really?
Kenny
and it filtered
G
down to their
was
age group.
huge. Oh my gosh, huge. We would have 80 or 90 kids that would sign up to try instruments. Okay, give us 3 instruments that you want to try. Say 90 kids. 2/3 of them would say saxophone.
Really?
That Kenny G influence that they heard was absolutely huge. And Lisa Simpson.
Ah, yeah. You think that might have had something
Lisa
to do with it.
Simpson. Oh, I know it
Sure.
was. They told me it was. They wanted to play like Lisa Simpson on the Barry sax. Now they didn't know that she was a Barry sax player. They just know it was saxophone. So pop culture can be really huge with instruments that way.
I'm kind of surprised were you deluged with kids then that said they wanted to play guitar, because that seems like such a pop culture kind
We
of
don't teach
obvious
guitar.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
not an instrument we teach.
Right.
But absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Drums, you know, no, we do teach drums percussion, but in the band and orchestra world, you're expected to play the snare drum and the cymbals and the xylophone and percussion, Latin percussion instruments. Kid is thinking drum set. You know, I wanna play drum set because my dad's a big AC/DC guy, and you know I watch these videos, and you know I want to do. Who is the guy that had the cage that flipped upside down? Was that Motley Crue?
Motley Crue with Tommy Lee.
The thing goes upside down. You know,
guys have one of those at the high school?
No.
Okay. How many?
I had a few drummers that I would put in cages, though.
takes a certain kind. How many kids have you, if any, have you identified as that's a kid that may have a musical future ahead of them? And how many times were you right if you did ever sense that?
You mean at the beginning stage?
Yeah, at the beginning, like
or
right
later,
there in elementary,
later on.
or at any maybe at any kind of studious point before maybe they even realize it themselves.
Yeah, not very often that young, and I don't remember doing that young.
Yeah,
I've seen kids that grab an instrument and bang, they can play.
Yeah,
you know, it lights up, but not till they're in high school when it really starts to become apparent this kid could be a professional or play professionally or go into the collegiate level or something like that.
And you've seen kids do that?
Oh, sure, yeah.
That were under your tutelage.
Yep.
That kids that have gone on to now have careers where they are musicians.
Most of them, I would say, that are professionally playing or professional musicians are teaching. They might be band directors, orchestra directors, college professors. We have a couple of college professors that we've had. Or they've gone and played in bands for a while, and they might be in retail. They might work for, I think, of one particular student that worked for Yamaha Musical Instrument Corporation, and then got involved in the retail and stores, and it's big business selling percussion equipment or sound equipment or those kind of things.
Whether you're teaching history or English or math, it must be so rewarding as an educator to have been involved in any way in planting that seed in someone that you see have that root take root.
I probably spend as much time talking kids out of it than I did talking them into it. And what I mean by that is
it's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And what I tell them is you want to be a trumpet player in a jazz band. Well, you have to, that's all you're going to do. You have to jump in with both feet. In other words, you can't be a jazz trumpet player for a living and then maybe do some engineering or mathematics or pharmaceutical work on the side. It doesn't work that way. But you could be a pharmacist and playing a jazz band on the side. And, you know, say just think about that. Because if you're going to go into the music world, that's it. You know, you could do some soccer on the side, but as far as another occupation, you're all in. You've got to be. Like acting. If someone wants to be an actor, say they want to go to Broadway, you got to be all in. You got to do nothing else. You can't double major in. Well, I'm going to have something to fall back on. Then go fall back on it right away. Do it right away. Save yourself some time.
The Beaver Dam Area Orchestra performing this Saturday at the Beaver Dam High School Auditorium. Rich Zieman's last time as conductor before the baton is handed off. Any of the 60 or so musicians that appear with you on stage this Saturday, were any of them students at any time?
Well, you know what? My soon-to-be predecessor that's following me, Erin Abersall, was a student of mine at Beaver Dam High School, and she played trombone, still plays trombone in the area orchestra. Well, where I worked with Erin the most was in jazz band. I was the jazz band director. And she was in the jazz band 1, which is the top, kind of like the varsity level group. And we had several conversations about majoring in music, what it takes, what are the possibilities. She went to UW, marched in the Badger Band for, I think, 5 years. Got an education degree, taught at what was then St. Pete's in town, now St. Catherine Drexel, and taught with us in the summer program here, starting kids, and then now she's home taking care of her 5 boys. So, and her music then was on Monday nights, being able to get out of the house and playing trombone in the orchestra.
Because, I mean, that really is, if you're not going to be pursuing that jazz
Right.
career, that is, I imagine, such a beautiful way to be able to let off steam, being somebody who could dabble in this art.
You know,
even
I
if it
had
is on the side.
I had a student, I wish I could remember who it was, but it was a long time ago, and I was talking to this kid about, you really got some talent. You should at least think about the possibility of pursuing this. And this kid, who was a really bright, articulate kid, and it was really rare for someone so young.
Wasn't me, by the way.
No. She said to me, I love playing this instrument way too much to make it a job.
Yeah.
And that just, I learned so much from that. I don't know if she continued to play. I lost touch. Like I said, I can't remember who that was. But that was one of those, like, okay, I got to remember this. And I used that line decades later with other kids, It's all a balancing act. If you cannot imagine doing anything else than music, if you cannot picture yourself doing anything else other than music, and maybe it's teaching, maybe it's directing, maybe it's composition, maybe it's performance, being in a band, give it a shot.
Rich Zieman,
So
learning from his students here.
Absolutely.
As he winds down his career and experience in Beaver Dam. Again, the Beaver Dam Area Orchestra performing this Saturday, Beaver Dam High School Auditorium. We'll get the details about that. It's the normal Christmas thing, 2 shows and all that good stuff.
You've got everything all right there.
We'll hit it here 5 o'clock for that family concert, 7 o'clock for the full holiday concert. We do have to take a break. We'll be back here in just a few minutes with Beaver Dam Area Orchestra conductor Rich Zieman.
High school sports. Comment.
And we're back speaking with Rich Zieman. He is the conductor of the Beaver Dam Area Orchestra, and he is also going to be performing for the last time as conductor of the Beaver
just
Dam Area
handed
Orchestra.
him a picture from Daily Citizen.
I'm not familiar with what that is.
March, yes, this is not a competitor. This is a
Just kidding.
print news.
Good people.
March 15th, 1991.
And this
that is
wow.
a picture of
This is a picture of you with a mustache.
of me wearing my Bill Cosby sweater.
The finest of Bill Cosby's
Yeah,
sweaters that you
and,
could possibly. Did you have any pudding pops with this, or was it just the sweater?
Glenwood, it was the founder of our orchestra in 1954. Glenn took the job that at that time was the orchestra was part of the Beaver Dam Recreation Department.
The City of Beaver Dam Rec
City of
Department.
Beaver Dam Rec Department. And it was called, there was a band also, and it was called the Rec Band and the Rec Orchestra. And Glenn started that group in 1954, and then eventually, as it went, it broke away from the city for various reasons and incorporated itself as the Beaver Dam Area Orchestra. So our history has two different names, the Beaver Dam Recreation Orchestra and then the Beaver Dam Area Orchestra. But we're now in our 68th season. We're now a totally nonprofit entity. We don't get any funding from the city anymore. We're separate from that. We have our own board of directors. But this picture is from 1991 when I was named the new music director, and Maestro Wood is handing me the baton.
Yeah.
Ken Gropner on the left there was the board of directors president, and Ken was also, excuse the phrase, instrumental in the incorporation of the orchestra. And Ken was also a musician in the orchestra too. And he was and still is a very big supporter of the orchestra, and personally of me too, encouraging me, and especially in those younger years when I really wasn't sure what I was getting into. When you're young and confident and you think you can do it all, and you find yourself in that situation where it's just like, wow, this is great. Like being in Beaver Dam, when I came to Beaver Dam in 1983, I thought this would be a good job for about 5 years. By the late 80s, I was going to be out of Beaver Dam. I was going to go somewhere else, teach somewhere else, maybe see the world.
Because you're from where?
Muskego, Milwaukee area. And I took the orchestra and put my own twist on it, and this year is my 30th season, and it's just remarkable how fast you're all of a sudden counting time in decades. You think about something that happened, you're like, okay, it's the 80s, 90s. Man, that was 40 years ago. You're counting, 10 years at a time.
Before you had kids, now you got grandkids.
Yeah, well, actually, my kids were little. I think in 91, my daughter was 2. She just had her second baby in October.
Congratulations.
And my son was 4. And he's going to be 35 years old in January.
Your position,
So,
for those that don't
so they
know
were
why
little. Yeah.
while you're leaving, you're positioning yourself closer to those.
Yeah, we've
family
already
members.
moved to Hudson, Wisconsin. The kids are in the Twin Cities, and grandkids are up there, but also it's been a dream of my wife's and mine to get on a lake eventually. So we were going to kind of aiming for that northwest corner of the state. We'd like to stay in Wisconsin. We're just a little more attached to it. And as you may have heard, it's kind of a tough time to be buying a house right now.
Yeah.
So we did sell our house, and now we're renting a townhouse, and we're just going to wait a little bit to buy something. So I drove down this morning, and this coming Saturday for our concert, we're going to drive down Saturday morning, and then that's going to be it on Saturday.
Again, 5 o'clock for the holiday concert, the family holiday concert, short, and 7 o'clock for the standard length.
Yeah, it's a
holiday
traditional Christmas concert. Most of the pieces are going to be very recognizable. We do have 2 guests. Lisa Weisensell, longtime piano player for the orchestra, and the violist is going to be featured on a new arrangement of "O Little Town of Bethlehem." It's just beautiful. It's kind of a Christmas meets George Gershwin kind of a piece. It's really cool. So Lisa's going to play that, and then we've got Jessica Lefevre, who is pretty well known with the community theater area here at Community Theater. And also teaches vocal music, and Horicon is going to be a vocalist on I think it was an Amy Grant song, Breath of Heaven. And then the other one, I'm looking at my sheet here, How Far Is It to Bethlehem? And Jessica, beautiful soprano voice, is going to be our featured artist. So what we did a number of years ago, we had the wonderful problem that we were attracting too many people. We were attracting way more people for our concert, our Christmas concert, than we could seat in the auditorium. And we hated to turn people away. So we created what we call a family concert at 5 o'clock. We're going to play about 5 numbers instead of 10 numbers. Point and shoot, about 35 minutes, no intermission. The kids still receive presents from the Heffron family. And it's been very, very popular. A lot of young families that will come in. Real doable for kids to sit there for half an hour. You know, we keep them entertained. I select the songs that are highlighted on that sheet are the ones we would play at 5 o'clock.
The hits.
The hits, Sleigh Ride and Green Sleeves and Silent Night and those kind of things. And then we regroup, and then we do the 7 o'clock with the intermission, the full, what we call the full length version. So.
And again, this is all at the Beaver Dam High School Auditorium. Your 30th year conducting the Beaver Dam Area Orchestra, the second conductor in that time. You said after Glenwood, you put your own twist on it. What's your own twist on this orchestra?
Oh, having resigned from a few things now, like teaching public school or leaving other various groups, I've kind of got 2 philosophies, and the one is when you leave it better than you found it, and leave while you still enjoy it. And I know I've done that with the orchestra. Glenn had nurtured the orchestra, long enough that what my twist might have been was maybe more popular music of the day, not just musical things, but a Beatles medley, or last month we played a Led Zeppelin medley, right. And people go, Led Zeppelin. That song got a lot of thumbs up when we played that. So I would say my twist of introducing maybe a lot more popular music, where we could play some Beethoven, and then we could play some Lennon and McCartney, or we could play TV theme songs. That might be my twist on that. The orchestra continued to grow with a number of musicians in there. It has a nice, healthy roster with an orchestra, and when a musician is talking an orchestra, what we're referring to is a large instrumental group that contains strings. So back in the day, you might have heard the term the Glenn Miller Orchestra, the Glenn Miller Jazz Swing Band. Those, and the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, they did have strings in them, a small contingent of strings. And then the bass player, he was usually playing a big upright bass. So that term kind of stuck. And it had an air of sophistication to it. With the orchestra, we're talking about a full slate of violins, violas, cellos, basses, all the woodwinds, all the brass. How an orchestra differs from a band, other than the fact the band does not contain strings, is that an orchestra will have wind-wise, and when I say winds, I mean brass, any instrument you would blow into, one on a part. So there's one first trumpet, there's one second trumpet, there's one first flute, there's one second flute. In a band, you could have 5, 6, 8 first trumpets. You could have 10 first flutes. The more the merrier in a band with that. With an orchestra, like a jazz band, you'd have one on a part. So that makes it a little more exclusive that way. And why that is, there's a few reasons, but we don't have to get into that today.
Again, you could get into it at 5 or 7 o'clock on
Absolutely.
on Saturday night at the Beaver.
And I
Area
think
Holiday Concert.
to talk about my take on this, I'm a music teacher, and now Glenn was a music teacher too. I would say that I probably was much more comfortable standing at a microphone in front of people and talking than Glenn Wood was.
That probably helps.
That was not Glenn's thing.
Yeah.
It's my thing. It's the actor in me. You know, I've been involved in community theater. I've been on the stage. I've been behind the stage. I've directed. I've been in the pit. I love that. But to be able to stand and talk about a piece and tell an audience, okay, we're going to play this Mozart. Here are some things to listen for. Here's why this piece is such a big deal. That is probably the largest thing I've gotten feedback from audiences about, was we love it when you talk to us about the piece before we play. And sometimes I think I talk a little too much. I'm trying to pass on maybe more information than I should. That's been one of my takes too. Now, what Erin wants to do with that, Erin's going to have her own take on it. She may not be talking the way I talk, and she's a different person. She's going to develop her own style, and as a result, the orchestra is going to develop a different style too. It has to.
It'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. She does know that she's going to have to spend a minimum of 30 years, though, with the orchestra.
Well, she's currently also the director of the Beaver Dam Community Band.
Yes.
So if anyone's been to the concerts in the park or the concerts at the Seipel Center, they've seen Erin, who is in her 11th year with the band.
Okay. Community band.
Somewhere
Yeah.
around there. So
Is head of the band, too.
Yeah, this kid, and she's only in her 40s, so she's a kid. She has chops, and I have no doubt she's going to do a really good job with the orchestra. And as someone who had a piece of her educational background, I'm absolutely thrilled.
Again, that is this Saturday, 5 p.m. for the Family Holiday Concert, 7 p.m. for the Holiday Concert, Beaver Dam High School Auditorium. When you look back at your time here in Beaver Dam, what stands out in terms of some of your most memorable musical experiences? If I'm not mistaken, you performed in Madison with a well-known traveling act at the last minute or so, if I'm not mistaken. Alliant Energy Center.
Are
I
you
wanna
talking
say?
about me personally, musically, or are you talking about the area orchestra?
Talking about you personally.
Oh yeah, I played. That was a Red Skelton show. Wasn't last minute.
It wasn't last
no,
minute,
no.
okay.
I got hired for that job.
All right.
And he, what was the Alliant? What was called the? What did it used to be called?
The Alliance Center or the Alliance?
The Alliant Energy Center. Alliant
Yeah.
Energy Center. What's it called now?
Alliant Energy Center.
No, before that it was the
Dane County Coliseum.
The Coliseum.
Yeah.
Thank you. And he did a concert there and hired a 30-piece orchestra because people about my age that would remember the Red Skelton show, he did a lot of pantomime, and it was always done to music. And he felt strongly, and his music director talked to us before we rehearsed. Red Skelton felt strong about live music, so he would hire 30 musicians to come in and paid all 30 musicians to do this live instead of playing a soundtrack. It was a really cool experience.
Did you get to meet Red?
I didn't meet him, but I was this close to him. He did one of his bits, and he got like within about 6 inches of my face, and I didn't get a chance to talk. I was told not to, but yeah, it was really fun.
Well, what else sticks out in your mind? Other experiences
With the orchestra?
Any musical experience from your time here in Beaver Dam?
the professional bands that we brought in here to the high school, we brought in the Glenn Miller Orchestra a couple times. We had the Woody Herman Orchestra here, and we had the Woody Herman Orchestra here with Woody Herman in the mid '80s. That was remarkable to see someone of that stature. The first time I ever paid attention to Beaver Dam, though, was before I came to Beaver Dam. I was a undergrad at Madison, and I got wind that the Count Basie Band was coming to Beaver Dam, and this would have been 1981, with Count Basie.
Wow.
And I think my then girlfriend, future wife, and I and a couple other friends drove up here, and the concert was in the old gymnasium of Beaver Dam High School, or what little younger people might remember as the South Gym, in the old high school. And it was Count Basie with Count Basie, and that gym was packed. Absolutely packed, and that band was just rocking. That was the first time I ever met Jerry Anderson. Jerry was the brains behind getting that band in. So that was my first take, and then I found out just 6 months later that I had been assigned to student teach in Beaver Dam. So I student taught here, learned of a job opening that was happening that next year, applied for it, got the job. And the rest is history, as we would say. And the other thing is how quickly you go from being a kid in a music department to being the old man.
Blink of an eye, huh?
In the music department, it's just, and being an older teacher, I used to say to some of the younger teachers, you realize that I have been teaching longer than you've been alive?
That must feel
Yes,
good.
I know, Mr. Zieman. Yes, I know.
So here we are. This is the end.
Yeah.
This is the end.
Yeah, and it feels really good. I've had a lot people that say, "Boy, are you okay? You okay? What is this? What's it feeling like? And what are you gonna be thinking in that last concert?" Or, it's been a good ride. Yeah, like I said, I think I know the orchestra is stronger than when I took it. I've had a blast. I've made great lifelong friends. I'm passing this off to somebody that that I think the world of. We've made some wonderful music. It's gotten to be a popular group for people to come and attend concerts. And nothing's forever. I never imagined that I was going to be dying in Beaver Dam, that there were going to be other things to do. And so that's what we're figuring out right now.
Musical passions that you might be following in your new life?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
Nothing yet. The thing is, when you put the word out that you're a musician, you start getting requests really quick, like, "Oh, can you sing in our choir, or can you direct this, or can you do that?" And then pretty soon you're running around again. And right now, it's kind of nice to just not be doing anything. So as of Saturday night, that'll be the first time that I haven't had some job since 1983 in music. Because even when I retired from the school district, I still had the area orchestra. I still had a saxophone studio I was teaching. I took the music director job at the Disciple Center. I did all of those jobs, and then the Disciple I finished up, and I finished up my studio, and I retired. And so now this will be, so I'm going to kind of sit still for a little while.
Well, Rich, I don't know how to explain this to you, but I believe they get the World Wide Web in Hudson, and this here program is on the World Wide Web right now.
We've heard of it, and we're getting it. I think with the indoor plumbing is coming up there.
You're going to get rid of the outhouse, huh?
It's been fun to learn of a new community, though.
Yeah.
And you know, the Facebook, I'm not huge in this Facebook, but I did get on a Hudson community page, and I just typed in Thursday night, I just typed in, hey, new in town, kind of exploring things, who's got a good fish fry? I think there were 70 or 80 responses of just this one, this one, this one, and the one we went to, the waitress that waited on us was the one that saw my post, and we got to be friends, and we're looking for a realtor, and she's got a friend who's a realtor, and it's just like, you know, this is how things happen.
Starting fresh.
Absolutely.
Well, we wish you the best in your future endeavors in this new path in life that you're taking, and it certainly has been interesting, to say the least, to have you on Community Comment. In
Well,
my
I want to thank all of you guys, because you know, you and John Kraft and Rick Arman and certainly Bill, and back to the John Klinger days, you guys have done a lot for music in this community. You know, as far as these kind of shows and promoting what it is that we did, and I remember being on a committee that was in charge of publicity for a potential referendum that eventually passed, that built our new auditorium in 1991. And that was huge, and how supportive the radio station and now specifically Good Karma has been for all of us. You know, it was always a phone call, and then the next day you were putting on public service things, promoting, you know, free of charge. Or we would have a fundraiser, and we would buy $500 worth of ads, and you guys would give us $1,500 worth of airtime.
I'm
You know,
sure that was probably
you know,
nothing that we would have done.
Yeah,
I'm sure we do that for everybody.
Yeah,
Rich.
exactly. So I want to thank all of you guys for all that you've done with making Beaver Dam such a cool place to live for people interested in the arts, whether it's community theater or the Stiples Center or the area orchestra or our cool school district that knows that music is an important piece of a kid's life.
Well, we don't have to keep patting each other on the back, though. What we do would not be possible if we didn't have interesting things to talk about from people such as yourself.
I've got something else to show you, though. Do you have more time yet, or are you cutting?
But for you, Rich, in your last
cutting
show,
us off?
we're clearing the schedule
Listen,
for you.
so this
John Kraft is made time.
Oh, you know what? I left it out in my car. But
your saxophone? Are you going to
No.
Solo?
I've got my last rehearsal tonight.
Okay.
With these people.
60 and plus.
Last one. And this program is from November 1991, and that was my first concert with the area orchestra.
Wow.
That's cool. But what's remarkable is in the roster, so they always list a roster of who's playing. There are 12 people that were in this concert that are playing in the concert Saturday.
Not counting you?
Not counting me.
Wow.
So a dozen people that have been in this orchestra for 30 years, many of them more than that. Most of them who don't live in Beaver Dam anymore. They're coming from Madison, West Bend, Fond du Lac, Hartford, you know, all over. I think we're into 6 different counties now that they're coming. And they, every Monday, that's the joke I always say, thanks for coming back. Every Monday, thanks for coming back. You keep coming back. That's one of the things that I'm so thankful for, is how we made music, but you can't make music unless they show up. There's some people in this orchestra that have been in it for 40 years. One in particular that's going to be performing with us Saturday, over 50 years, that go way back to the Glenwood age when she was in high school as a Glenwood student and still playing.
Real legacy.
Still playing. That's the legacy. And that's not my legacy. That's the orchestra's legacy. And being able to pass this off. It's organic. It's like tending a garden. okay, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to pass this off to the next gardener, and she's going to tend this and grow it and affect it in the ways that she will. So that's all I wanted to say. But thousands of Monday nights, hundreds of concerts, hundreds of different musicians. I don't know, tens of thousands of audience members that saw us over 68 years. That's pretty cool. Very proud of it.
Well, 30 years and 1 month of that is yours.
Yeah.
And you certainly...
Not half, still less than half.
I'm sure there are plenty of people, including Aaron, who would say, you can make it half if you want. Of course, you did, everybody did leave except for 12 people. But that's
Yeah.
Sorry. But that has got to be...
They all left when I was named the new director. What? Glenn's not doing this? Okay, see ya.
It's still such a remarkable... jokes aside, a remarkable legacy to be able to look back in. And, I, too, like you, am not from this community, but to see the things that have been fostered that really mean community, like the community theater, like the radio station, like the area orchestra. It's a wonderful piece of culture that we're able to call
And it's
our
my
own.
biggest wish, my own personal, heartfelt wish, that someday you'll find time to come to a concert.
I hosted one. You didn't ask me back.
I'm joking. You've been when your daughter was younger. You came to the Christmas concert, the family one, I think, right? When she was younger.
We would frequently come to the family concerts with the younger daughters, as the kids are invited for this Saturday's early concert. I was just talking to Tom Heffer, and he said he's only got 900 coloring books, so you might want to get there early.
Oh, you just reminded me of So Tom and Judy Heffron sponsor this concert, and one of the things that they do is they have gifts for all the kids that want
wonderful.
them.
Absolutely.
It's great, and it's been a lot of different things. But I remember the one year, the first year he had crayons that were loose in the packet. The kids would get them, and they went back up to their seats, and you could hear them rolling down underneath the seats, and then people kind of slipping as they got up. So that was like, okay, we're going to put these in like a sealed package. Open them when you get home.
Now it's blankets, very soft and quiet. I've noticed the last couple of years there's been blankets.
Ping pong balls, kids.
Right.
What could go wrong?
Wow. What could go wrong? Well, nothing. In the 30 years you've been conducting, the 4 or so decades that you taught in the Beaver Dam School District, probably 3.5 decades?
Yeah, 3.5, yeah.
3.5 decades. It's been a wonderful trip. Thanks for making community comment so interesting the times that you're here. We do appreciate it, and we wish you the best as you continue on your future endeavors, Rich.
I appreciate it. Thanks, you guys.
End of an era. Rich Zieman, conductor of the Beaver Dam Area Orchestra. Again, they're performing this Saturday, December 11th, 5 p.m. Family holiday concert.
The concert is free.
Oh wait, yes, we have to close on the big question.
It's free to get in, but it's going to cost you to get out.
And that's going to do it for today's community comment.